Do a quick mic test.
Test it. What are you to? Bring the right parts the right way. Cool. Audio's working.
We're live.
Hey everybody. How's it going, guys? We're just gonna wait a couple more seconds, let a few more people coming in, but we're gonna get started here in a minute. Today we're gonna go over our some of our new arrivals that we've gotten in the last 30 days or so, and also show you guys how to find all the new arrivals on our site. Because if you're not aware, we do add anywhere from 100 to 200 new items per month. So we definitely want to make sure we show you guys where all that stuff's at, teach you how to find it, and that we can consistently keep up with everything new and just know what's out. And of course, we'll keep doing these live videos every week. And then we got a batch of new preheaters, reballers, and tinners for sandwich boards. So to give you guys a good idea about how those work and whatnot, we'll do quick overviews of the products, not full demonstrations, but to give you guys just an idea about what the new arrivals are and what you guys can expect. And if you have any questions along the way, definitely, or any comments, just put them in the chat. We'll be watching that the whole time. We'd love to make sure we get any of your questions answered. But we can kind of go ahead and jump in. The first thing I want to show you guys would be where to find the new arrivals on our website. So we'll pull up the website and show that to you real quick. Kev, if you don't mind pulling up the site for me. Thank you. And if you look at the top right over by where you'd find your cart and everything, there's going to be a button right there he's circling that says new arrivals. So you'll go ahead and click on that, and then it's going to start populating, and it's going to show you the 100 newest items. So it's not going to be a running log forever because they're not new after that point. So this will be the 100 newest items, and you'll see it's kind of split up. We got accessories, tools, and parts. If you wanted to, rather than scrolling through and checking them all out individually, at the top here, there's little filters. So you could sort by only accessories or only tools if you want to see what new tools are out. And the same thing goes for parts. So he just clicked, I believe it's tools there in the middle, Kev. And just give it a second here and it's going to pull up, and then you'll see this would be all the new tool products that we've added recently. So I highly recommend that you bookmark this page or keep it as your home page, whatever, just because everybody loves new stuff and you want to keep up with what is new, and this would be the best way to do that. Yep. So we'll just kind of go over some of the new arrivals like you were seeing through the list that Kevin had pulled up. We had our Wakanda tweezers sitting out here last week, but we'll kind of go over them a little more. They're sitting right here in their nice little stand. This is a new brand of tweezers that we got. They're doing some research with the company, a very high quality company. They actually design and manufacture tweezers for high-end surgical professionals. So they have tweezers that range anywhere from $200 to $300 per pair. Microscopic tweezers that do optic surgery for your iris and on your eyeball. So they're pretty particular and very specific, high quality materials, lots of heavy QC to make sure that the surgeons are getting the proper type of tools. So with that type of work ethic, we felt comfortable to go ahead and make a purchase with them. So we got a few of their tweezers in. You can kind of see here if you want to swap over to my overhead cam. These tweezers are cool. They have nice little inscriptions through their handle. So little designs of swords, arrows. There's something unique and different. I don't know really what you call this, if it's a jousting or paddle or I don't know what that's for, but very cool tweezers. One of my favorite things about the tweezers is how thick they are in the handle, and they're very light. They don't really weigh anything. Super fine points as well. And you can see how thick they are in the handle. They just feel really nice. So we do like these. They are on the website in the news section or through the category page for the manufacturer, Wakanda. So definitely check those out, grab the whole set, and let us know how you like them. Just moving on to a few more things. We'll be showing some of the preheaters for your sandwich boards, some of your Reball jigs, and we have here imported standoff motherboard screwdriver. So when you're doing those type of repairs, you definitely want to grab this driver if you don't have one already. It's very important to go ahead and remove those, different people call them different things, security screws, standoff screws, board screws, whatever it is. So it's that unique screw that needs the special driver to pull out so you can remove the board from the housing. So I have a couple of boards here. We'll kind of demonstrate. We'll start with our preheater and then kind of go into a couple of our reballing tin
jigs as well. And then we also have a board holder here as well, and then some peripherals we'll show you. But this is our Zinzi Zhao, I think, brand. I'm probably butchering that name 1000%. But it's a preheater, different from, we've had a couple of the other manufacturers and models, but we've seen some different feedback on them, and we really like this one for different reasons. So we'll show you exactly like how it works. In the box, you'll get your power cord, you'll get a base, and then you'll get a variety of different plates. If you want to hand me all those plates right there, we can kind of go through and show everybody what they're gonna get in the package. A unique thing too, other than the actual board plates that they have, is they have this one here. It's very unique for the board preheaters. I usually don't have this type of plate, but it has slots and inscriptions for your hard drive, your Face ID, and then your CPUs. So to show you how like they work and you change the boards, there's a little lever here, sliding it out. It kind of releases the bottom. You can see the beveled edge here. And then on the inside too, there's a lip. So once you flip it, it secures the board into the plate. And then same little beveled edges here and lips. So you'll slide under, down, and fold it closed. So loosen it up, pull it out, and then you can swap it over for Face ID, if that's what you're gonna work on. But I'll do a quick little demonstration on an actual board separation. So what I have here in front of me is an X board. So we'll grab our X plate, which is here. And they're all labeled as well for exactly which boards they support. So this one supports X, XS, and XX Max. Secure it in there. A power switch for power. Not plugged in. Oh.
Step one, plug it in.
Plug it in. Then turn on your power. So you have up and down. Once it begins to kind of show you a change in numbers here, this is it increasing in heat. So this is the actual temperature that it's running. And then up and down, you can kind of show you exactly what temperature you're going to. It has increments of 5. If you're going to do board sandwich separation, you want to set it at 240. So once it's set at 240, you'll see it's got pegs here to line up with your screw holes to secure the board in place. Fits nicely, very secure, doesn't move around. So the machine will begin to heat up. It'll heat up to the temperature we set it to 240, and then we can go ahead and grab and separate the board. So I'll use my Wakanda tweezers here. Once this gets to 240, about 220, you'll start to see a little smoke. It's ready, about to be prepared. The solder will be melted, so you can go ahead and separate it. Once it gets to about 240, then you can lift up. Different techniques to kind of go ahead and do the separation. Whatever works best for you. What I find easiest is to grab one of these screw holes, and then you can just lift straight up on the board. So we'll give it a couple of seconds. I'll kind of do a little more explanation. Let Scott.
While that heats up, I was just going to say that one thing that we take a lot of time on is going through all of the tools available, whether they be new or pre-existing or what have you. With our China team, there is a lot that's out there, right? The China companies, they tend to pump out a lot of tools. Sometimes they're just duplicates of other companies. So we spend a lot of time going through, Brad especially, and making sure that we get samples in and choose what we want to bring in and why before we do it. And I just like to stress that because I do think that sometimes, it might be assumed that we're just, getting a big list of new tools from China. We just, no questions asked, say, cool, send it, and we start selling them. There's a lot of behind the scenes work that goes on that we don't really ever go over. I just want you guys to know that because we do put a lot of time into this because we want to make sure that these tools are what you guys need. Yeah. And any feedback you ever have, whether you really love a tool and you want to see some more from that brand, or you, for preference-wise, for whatever reason, don't like a certain tool, we'd love your feedback. Everyone has their different opinions, and we basically do our best to converge all the opinions and make it work for everybody. So.
Yep. No, I'm glad you said that because it is. And it's one of my jobs as well to make sure that does get accomplished. So it means a lot to me to make sure that you guys are getting the quality materials. And like you said, your feedback is definitely appreciated. It goes heavy into making the proper decisions on future purchases. So this is getting to be just about ready. So I'm going to make sure we have our tweezers ready to go ahead and lift this off. And then once we have it separated, then I can actually reball. So this is almost ready. And two, if you guys see something on the table or you have a question, feel free to chime in, reach back out to us, leave a comment, and we'll make sure that we kind of give you guys the answers you're looking for. So I'd say this is probably a few times I've went through this process on this machine. I would say it probably takes a good 5 minutes to kind of go ahead and get heated up. Just kind of give yourself time judgment there when you're starting the repair. Not a whole lot of time to do anything else, but you do have to wait.
While that heats up, you want to go over these little things?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know it's not quite related, but
no, it's not super related. I'll show you a little more better use case, but these little solder pads, not solder pads, these little thermal pads here that are pre-cut, they're excellent when you're doing these type of board level repairs, especially when you're doing like chip offs, when you're removing CPUs. There may be another IC or another chip around that you don't want to damage or you don't want to get affected by the heat. So those thermal pads are nice to lay around the board and go and protect those areas. We've sold out on them already once, so make sure you grab them up if they are available still.
it's a lot easier to use than just trying to wrap it all up with Kapton tape or whatever you may be doing
So
currently.
this hit 220, you can start to see like a little bit of smoke. I don't know if you can see it on the screen or not. Almost to 230.
And then this machine has jigs for which models?
This will do, what is it, almost like
All the way to
10
12
different
Pro
ones.
Max.
Yeah, it'll do X all the way to 13 Pro Max. And then your Face ID, your hard drives, and your CPUs as well.
Yeah, so this is an all-in-one as of right now until the new phones come out, but then we can get the new molds for it. Multiple uses for this machine.
So we can go ahead and beeps here when we're separated. Oh man.
There we go. And obviously, I don't know if you guys can see it, but all the smoke coming off it essentially. But just be very careful. Obviously, these are heat pads, so just be careful. But it works very well, just like you said. As soon as it gets to 240, it basically just comes off right by itself. You just pull it off, and it saves you a lot of time.
We can re-put these holes back. This is a trash board, so I'm not too concerned about any of the other components coming off. I just want to go through the process to show you guys. So at this point, this board is off now. You want to make sure anything that's hot, make sure you don't touch it, so these areas get very warm. But I'll remove this out of the way for now so you guys can see what the process would look like afterwards. So this next product here, this is for the 11 Pro Max. This will also do X to 13 Pro Max. Here is my...
Is it on there?
Yep. Nope, this is it. So this one actually does X through 11 Pro Max. That's my fault. So basically, your board would sit here. Like I said, pegs to hold your holes. And then you have plates here for your tinning purposes. This is for X, yep. So magnetic here, so it's auto line, peg to hold the plate on. And then you can see that.
And that magnets into place.
Yeah, magnets into place. It auto aligns everything and gets ready to spread your paste on. So this would be the new paste that we have. This is a special solder paste for XSX Max and the newer boards. It's basically just to reball the different solder points all the way around the board. So I won't open it all the way up, but I will go through the motions to kind of give you guys an idea. The jig that I'm holding here, it does include two different scrapers, so you get a flat and an angled scraper, whatever works best for you. You would just scoop out some of your paste and just spread it across the area here. Make sure you give a little angled pressure to make sure you fill in all these different holes and you get a little paste on top of every little point. And then at that point, they would be ready to go ahead and reball. You could reball from here with hot air, just holding hot air above. Places here you can cover up with pads too if you just wanted to protect these areas. And then at that point, once it's reballed, you can remove the plate and then set it back in your preheater and layer the board back together and make sure everything is aligned properly and gets resoldered. We have another jig too that also is really good for reballing. It has a top layer here that protects the entire board, so at a point to where you would want to use thermal pads, you don't have to with this jig. This jig here, again, you'll hold your boards in place. Same thing, you would want to use plates to tin it with. They include them as well. You'll just line them up on the pegs supplied, and just like our other jig, that auto aligns them and gets them ready for paste. So you would just paste it, and then on this jig, you would go ahead and put the top cover on, and then it's ready to go ahead and reball. This black top will protect the entire board exactly except for where there is solder pads. And two, you could also just leave your plate here too. and that'll give you even more protection. So then you would just take your hot air and just run it around the edges here that are cut out, and then that would just allow the heat to get to exactly where it needs to without affecting the board everywhere else. As you could see before, when I was separating the board, if you're not too careful and you're not too precise and controlled with your motions, you can remove and knock off other components. And so it's important to make sure that you're choosing the right tool for the right job. So if you don't have the steady enough hand, this may be a better option for you. So that kind of goes over our separation tools, our Reball jigs, for the sandwich repairs. Another thing that I wanted to show you guys that we had here too is a new board holder. You got some questions?
No questions yet.
Cool. So board holder here, it's got two different sides. You can rotate these open and closed to put a board. You can put boards here on the center, boards here in the middle, so whatever works best. It also has a sliding plate here. So you've seen our individual smaller jigs that will hold ICs that are a lot smaller. I showed you guys in the FXIC videos. This does the same thing. So you can lay ICs here, two little notches here so you could angle your CPUs, and it just pushes closed. So you just line it up and push it to where you need to, and then you can go ahead and clean underfill off and get ready for Reball as well. Cutouts here for your different CPUs, and then just a resting plate here for whatever you feel like is necessary. So like this one here, I have a board that has a broken display connector. So if I wanted to set it in the middle, you can see the slots here on the side that go ahead and hold the board. This is where you can angle your board and get it right in the center. And then it will hold it secure. Not too tight to flex your board. But at that point, then I could go ahead and use my hot air and tweezers, and I could remove this FPC, remove any of these chips. If I wanted to, remove some of these other chips like we talked before, and I didn't want to mess with this chip, then I could cover this up with a thermal pad and go ahead and get to work. But this is a nice little jig. Lots of different universal settings here to go ahead and hold different boards of different sizes, different angles, and then already has resting places for your chip. So you could pull a chip straight off from the board, set it here, clean off the underfill, set it here, stencil it, reball it, put it right back on, and then you didn't really have to move a whole lot of different equipment around. So definitely check those out. If that's the type of repairs you do, that would definitely help you out. And that pretty much sums it up for the batch of tools that we had. A couple other things that I do want to show you guys is these things too. So these are called our iAtlas. It's kind of like our Wiley solder dots and whatnot. But basically your solder pads that are all around the edge to close and secure the sandwich. If you rip those pads, then we have these. You can see them on the website. Product photo is a little confusing because these are a lot smaller than I expected. So it was interesting to me at one point to see like solder balls. I don't know if I can show this on the camera how small these are.
Yeah, it basically looks like glitter within the tube.
Yeah, it's basically gold metallic glitter. I literally cannot show you how small these are. But basically this is to repair those solder joints around the board. So they are so small. But there's one on the tip of my tweezer that you'll never be able to see in the history of the world.
But we've got them if you
But we got them if you need them. So each pack comes with 3 little vials like this. I say each vial has at least 100 or so in there. I'm not exactly sure. But there's 3 thickness levels here. So on the bottle, it'll tell you how thick it is, and there's 3 different sizes inside here. So this is really good if you do happen to lift your board a little too early or something and tear one of those pads, or you're not, like I said, you're not very stable with your hands. You can actually repair those solder pads with that type of product. So a little overview: preheaters, Reball jigs, thermal pads, thermal paste. Definitely grab all of these tweezers from Wakanda.
Yeah, and then the other thing that we have as well would be our line of Ordeal products. So we have PC SSDs as well as DDR4 and DDR3L memory. But we have them on the website. We have been beefing up our computer/laptop section with Chromebook parts and stuff like that. We're going to continue to do so. So if you have any suggestions on what you'd like to see us carry, definitely let us know. But for sure, check out the SSD and the memory prices. We're trying to be as aggressive as possible, but I feel like the price points will be great for you guys. And then just to wrap it up, just one more time, I just want to show you where to find all these new arrivals on the actual website. So, all right. So we're already on the page, but at the very top right where the mouse is right now, there's a button that says New Arrivals. If you click on that, again, you'll be able to see all the new arrivals that we have, the 100 newest items. We're adding anywhere from 100 to 200 items a month. And you can scroll through as a chunk and just view parts, tools, and accessories at once, or use those filters that Kevin's hovering over right now. Like, for example, clicking accessories, and you'll be able to view only the accessory items that are new, so that we can kind of pick and choose how you want to look at it. But again, highly recommend that you bookmark this page. We're always adding new stuff, and this is the best way to keep up with it. But yeah, I mean, did you want to show anything else?
Nope.
Brad? Okay, cool.
Nope.
Yeah, I appreciate everyone's time. If there's any questions afterwards when you're watching this when it's not live, post them. We'll make sure we answer them. And of course, you can reach out to us anytime. And we'll be live next week from the Prepaid Expo. So definitely make sure you tune in next week. We'll be showing our booth, showing what's going on at the show while it's going on, and should be a good time.
So we definitely look forward to seeing you there if you're definitely coming. And then if you're not, we want to do the live to kind of give you guys an idea of who's not coming, what it's like. So like Scott said, we appreciate your time again. Look for us next week and let us know what you want to see.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good day.